There are many different types of denominations that represent Christianity. These denominations are created from certain practices and worshiping methods that make them unique from others. No matter the differences, all denominations and churches have a common goal of bringing non-believers to Christianity. Or do they? This is an interesting question that has been discussed for a long time regarding the goals and effects of the church. The Prodigal God, written by Timothy Keller, takes this conflict and goes on to discuss the comparison of Jesus and the church and how the church's goals aren't like Jesus' goals. In the first chapter of The Prodigal God, there is a section titled, Why People Like Jesus But Not the Church. The chapter goes in depth about this topic and gives examples that help the reader understand this point. Quote, Jesus' teachings consistently attracted the irreligious while offending the Bible-believing religious people of his day. However, in the main, our churches today do not have this effect. End quote. On page 18 of The Prodigal God, Keller gives the reader the point of view that churches aren't properly teaching and spreading the Word of God. Churches are currently trying to keep their own members happy when they should be focused on trying to grow. Some examples of Jesus teaching the less educated come from Luke chapter 7, John chapters 3 and 4, and Luke chapter 19. In all of these chapters in the Bible, Jesus meets with the people that don't know God. God gives people churches so that existing members can gather and worship, but God also wants the church to spread and grow. The conflict of the church is represented very well nowadays. Quote, to some degree, these so-called culture wars are playing out these same conflicting temperaments and impulses in modern society. More and more people today consider themselves non-religious or even anti-religious. They believe moral issues are highly complex and are suspicious of any individuals or institutions that claim moral authority over the lives of others. End quote. This quote comes from page 15 of The Prodigal God, and it tells the reader that more and more people are falling away from God or don't know God. The conflict here is if the church is doing its job or not. But first, we may have to look at the other factors that can possibly cause people to move away from God. The media has a huge effect on people's views on various topics. It seems to be normal in the United States for people to be non-religious, so the media has adapted to promoting being non-religious. TV, movies, and music are now promoting sex, drugs, and foul language. So it is completely possible that the church is being overwhelmed by the spread of media. Also, are the older members of the church making it less appealing for the younger people? Quote, if our churches aren't appealing to younger brothers, they must be more full of elders than we'd like to think. End quote. Keller wraps up his discussion by stating that this may be the problem with our church. However, taking the view of the church fulfilling its job, Christians are not supposed to force their faith on others. If someone is unwilling to accept God, that must be respected. This shows that it is not the church's job to convert everyone to Christianity, so they shouldn't try to. So, to wrap things up, an important challenge to think about in Christianity is the church and its goals. Is the church doing what it needs to spread and bring more followers? Should the church be reaching out more, or is it doing enough already? Does the church need to be more like Jesus in its actions? These are all important questions when discussing the topic of the church and the things that affect it. I have presented all of the facts and both sides of the conflict, so it is up to you as the audience to choose a side. No matter the side chosen, it is great to consider both and understand how both are possibilities in our world today. Thank you.